So today I am going to be doing another absolute beginner tutorial for Fusion 360. Today we're going to be making a bracket. So that's going to be um, possibly a little bit more challenging. We're going to be using some of the same features we used for our previous um, work. So anyway, let's just jump right into it and see where we can go. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be creating a sketch. And we're going to do this in our sketch plane. And a bracket is essentially two plates at an angle to each other. And of course we can include a support mount so that it can bear greater load or something. I don't know. But for now, we're just going to start with our two plates. So we selected the rectangle tool, made our sketch surface as we did last time. If you're confused about how to do these, go ahead and check out my previous two videos. I'll put a link to them in the description below. Now we can dimension these to be 50 and 75. All right. And finally, we can just add some circles so that when we extrude, we will have a thing. We'll have holes so that we can screw something through it. All right. Of course, we want those to be fully defined. So we can do that. That. All right, and that is going to be I don't know, we can go with 7. That's a nice small number. And we can go ahead and put some constraints on. I'm going to make these vertical. All right, so that's fully defined. We can finish our sketch and we can extrude this. We can go, I'm going to go down, so that's going to be -3. 30, that's kind of a lot. How about 5? -5, that looks pretty good. Okay. So now if we select this tool, we can kind of scoop around and we can see that that is in fact a bracket. All right, and actually, all right, you know what? I don't see it, so I'm not going to bother with it. All right, so that looks pretty good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to sketch in another plane. So we can select our home view. Let's take a look. We want to sketch in a perpendicular plane, preferably one such that our bracket kind of makes sense geometrically. So in this case, we're going to sketch in the YZ plane. And we're going to create a sketch. Now once again, we're going to make exactly the same sketch. Essentially, it's going to be a rectangle. We're going to dimension it. See, I'm sorry. I screwed this up because of the orientation, but This one's going to be 75. You can make it whatever you want for your purposes. I'm just doing this so you have an example to work with. And finally, we're going to do some circles. We're going to make them equal. As I mentioned before, or maybe not today, but in a previous video, equal just means that the circles are in fact they share the same radius, essentially. Alright, and the last thing to do is just to dimension some distances. So we're going to do that. It's not selecting. Okay. There we go. And the final thing to do is to dimension this. Oh. I guess I should also make this vertical with that. Excellent. Alright, and I can extrude this as well. Now we're just going to take a look at this from an angle. We want it to go the other way. So we're going to go -5. Alright, and that is an identical plate to this one. Now you might notice that there's kind of a thing going on right here. We're going to get to that in just a second. But the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create a kind of a support piece so that these two don't fold in on each other when they're under load or something. So in order to do that, we're going to want to draw a cross section for our support piece, and then we're going to revolve. That's going to be a new tool we're using. We're going to revolve that around so that it kind of, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for here? It comes around flush to this plate. Now, yeah, we're just going to start with that. Alright, so we are going to go to select, and we're going to sketch on this surface. You could also do the XY plane because it's the same surface, but you'll just right click and select create sketch, and we are going to make our bracket. So I'm thinking we make it kind of like an I-beam sort of structure here. And of course we want it to be a closed loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by dimensioning some things. So we'll make that, I don't know, 20. We can do the same thing with this. 20. Alright. And then we can use some construction geometry here. And you'll notice there's a little triangle right next to the X, kind of at the right over here. If you look, you'll see a blue triangle. That means it's pre-selecting the midpoint constraint, which we want. So I'm just going to do that. Then we're going to select this and make it construction geometry. All right. And so you'll see everything is defined. This point won't move because it's constrained to the midpoint right here, and we want to do the same thing right here. So I'm going to select midpoint, that point, and that. Perfect. And finally, we just dimension a couple more things. This we can make Let's make it like 7. This one we can make 20. This one we can make 25. And I guess this one also needs to be 25. All right, and now our sketch is fully defined, so we can go ahead and finish sketch and select our profile. Let's take a look at this from a different view. So we can go ahead and select our profile and revolve. And for now, we're going to be using the angle type. And we know these are 90 degrees to one another because they're orthogonal planes. So we can go ahead and select an axis, which is going to be this green one. If we play around here, we'll see that's the y-axis. And it's not going to be 360 degrees. We're just going to go 90. And as you can see, that makes our thing. And our operation is join, of course. So we're just going to select OK. And now we have our support piece for our bracket. Now the last thing we want to do is we want to focus on this. Now because we have a support piece, these two plates are joined, so we don't need anything here. But let's say you didn't want to have a support piece because of profile or weight or something else. Maybe it doesn't need to be that strong. Well, you can just join these two pieces as well. And all you need to do is select the surface and select extrude. And this time it's not going to be an extent of distance. We're going to do to object. And for our object, we're just going to select this plane right here. And it's going to bring it flush. Everything else is already automatically selected. It isn't join operation because this is going to become one body. And we'll select OK. And just like that, whoops, I don't know why I did that. Just like that, you are all done. You have a bracket. Now I know this might be a little bit of a harder build. It's not exactly absolute beginner, but it is an excellent place to start if you do have a little bit more experience. And if you have checked out my other 2 videos, then this should be no problem for you. So yeah, go ahead and try it out. You can pause the video whenever you want. It'll be nice and easy. Alright, anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any questions on how to build something like this, or maybe on how to build something else, you can go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to check it out. I always respond. And maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you just like watching and figuring it out on your own. That's awesome too. But if you did like this, be sure to like and maybe subscribe if you want to check out more stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching.